right, let's get into it. Artificial intelligence has basically crashed into our schools like a meteor, right? And suddenly, we're all wrestling with these huge questions. Like, what skills even matter anymore? How are we supposed to teach? And seriously, what is the point of school when a machine can answer pretty much anything? So yeah, let's unpack all of that.
To really get this, I think Professor Bara Anand from Harvard Business School just put it perfectly. He said generative AI is like a person who's often wrong but never in doubt. And that right there, that's the whole ballgame. It's confident, it sounds convincing, but it can be totally, completely wrong. This one idea really frames everything we're about to talk about.
And the reason we have to talk about this right now is just the unbelievable speed of it all. I mean, look at this. It took radio 20 years to get into half the homes in the US. TV did it in 12. Smartphones, which felt crazy fast, took 7 years. And chatbots, 2.5 years. That's it. This isn't some slow-moving trend. It is a lightning strike. So, with AI just storming our classrooms at this pace, we're being forced to question some of the most basic things we thought we knew about education. And honestly, you might be surprised to find out that a lot of what we think is true, well, it's just plain wrong. Okay, so let's tackle the first big myth right away. We all tend to think this whole revolution is happening because these new AI models are just so incredibly smart. But that's not really the whole story, not by a long shot. Yeah, we see what these things can do, and we immediately assume the magic is all in the intelligence. But listen, AI has been getting smarter for decades. That's not what's new here. The real reason for this explosion, the thing that changed everything, is something completely different. The revolution is really all about the interface. Just think about it for a second. We went from needing to be a total expert using punch cards and command lines, right? Then we got the graphical user interface, think Windows, which opened up computers for millions of us. And now we have the search bar. We can just ask for whatever we want in plain, simple language. That is the game changer. AI is no longer stuck behind a wall of code. It's available to every single one of us. And this idea of access leads us right into the second big myth we need to bust. This idea that we should all just wait around for AI to be perfect before we start using it in our schools. It's a natural reaction, right? We hear about AI hallucinating or just making stuff up, and our first instinct is to say, whoa, this isn't ready, let's hit pause. But thinking like that means we miss out on a massive opportunity that's sitting right in front of us. Professor Anand has this brilliant way of looking at it. Think like Ryanair. Seriously, Ryanair is not the world's best airline. There's no free food, you can't pick your seat, there are zero frills. But it's the most profitable airline in Europe because it saves people a ton of money and time. And that's the point. Even if the AI isn't perfect, it can still create enormous value. And this little matrix here shows us exactly how to do it. The key question isn't, is the AI perfect? The question we should be asking is, what's the cost if it messes up? For things where the cost of an error is low, like say automating answers to student FAQs or brainstorming lesson plan ideas, we can jump on that right now. But for things where the cost of an error is high, like hiring a new teacher, well, that's when you have to be careful and make sure a human is still in charge. It's a super practical way to move forward, like today. And this isn't just a theory, there's data. A case study from India AI looked at a university data science course. They brought in these kinds of good enough AI tools for things like personalized learning paths and automating routine tasks. The result? Student performance went up 20%, and the administrative load on teachers dropped by 30%. I mean, that's a massive win, available right now. So we've seen how AI can be used in a practical way. But what about its biggest promise? The really transformative idea that it's going to finally level the playing field for every single student on the planet. It's a powerful dream, isn't it? For centuries, we've held up education as the ultimate path to social mobility, the one thing that can give everyone a fair shot. And AI really feels like it could be the key to finally making that dream a reality for everyone. So the promise is beautiful, a free personal AI tutor for every kid, which would close the learning gap for good. But here's the paradox. This amazing tool could actually do the exact opposite. Because think about it, the people who are best at using these tools, the ones who know how to ask the right questions and spot the bad answers, are the ones who already have a strong education. And we've seen this movie before. Remember when Harvard and MIT launched edX? They offered free online courses to the entire world, and they reached millions. But here's the kicker.
A whopping 75% of the people who actually finished those courses already had college degrees. The educated just got more educated. It's a pretty sobering reminder that just giving people access isn't enough.
So where does that leave us? Well, kind of ironically, it's the biggest flaws in AI, those pesky hallucinations that actually show us exactly why human teachers are more important than ever. Yeah, let's be really clear on what a hallucination actually is. It isn't a bug in the system, it's literally a feature of how these things work. They're built to predict the next most likely word in a sentence. Their goal is to sound fluent, not to be truthful. They don't know anything. They just generate text that sounds plausible, which, as you can imagine, can be dangerously misleading.
This graphic from a recent study breaks down the risks perfectly. You've got hallucinations threatening academic integrity, spreading all kinds of misinformation, creating real ethical and safety problems, making it impossible to assess students fairly, and they could even cause a decline in essential skills like critical thinking. And this is exactly why we need clear rules of the road. The Virginia Department of Education put out these principles, and they really capture what a lot of people are thinking. But if you take away one thing, it's this: AI has to augment, not replace humans. It's a tool, and it has to be used with wisdom and judgment and a serious focus on integrity. So all of this, it brings us to what might be the biggest, most profound question of all. If AI can spit out all the facts and handle all the boring stuff, what on earth is school even for anymore? I want you to think back for a second. Why did your teachers make you suffer through all those geometry proofs? It wasn't because they thought you'd be using them every day. No, it was to teach you the skill underneath it all, logic, and how to build a structured argument. Same thing with memorizing state capitals. Why did we do that? It's not because knowing that Albany is the capital of New York is some life-altering piece of information. It was an exercise. It was a workout for a core cognitive muscle, our memory. So if AI is now the machine that provides the what, our job as educators has to pivot entirely to the why and the how. We have to start teaching the skills that machines just can't touch: real curiosity, critical thinking, human judgment, communication, empathy. The challenge ahead for all of us isn't to beat the machine at finding answers. It's to inspire our students to ask much, much better questions. And that, right there, is the